Hello, my name's John Tverdik. I'm the founder and CEO of WaveCX. We are an audience engagement platform built for you all for financial institutions. So imagine us as the engagement layer that wraps around your technology stack. We're here to drive engagement for both your members and customers, as well as your employees. And so as we've had a lot of conversations with you all, with folks at FIs, we've sort of heard three themes that are really sort of driving our product innovation. The first one is having the ability to market your digital tools pre-login, to be able to show audiences what your tech stack looks like so that they can see themselves there. The second one is reducing the clutter of UIs, outdated UIs. If you don't have the budget to update those UIs right now, how can we better make sense of them for your customers, for your members? And then the third is more intelligent engagement. Don't treat every interaction like it's the first time we've ever talked. So that's really why we built WaveCX. So let's take a look at our first persona here today, Cosette. She is Gen Z, newly banked, recently off her parents' finances, and so she decides she's going to go out and look at the market. Her parents tell her to check out First Bank. So she goes to First Bank's website, takes a look at their materials, and so she immediately sees a demo in a sort of 3D environment from WaveCX on the page, actually showing what the feature functionality looks like. So it's not just showing what some banner ads of sort of sexy light, but it's actually showing critical flows of how the actual application will change her life. So then let's say Cosette says, okay, I'm going to go ahead and download it. So now she downloads the First Bank app. She's opened an account. She's gone through that entire process. So this is her first time now ever logging into that app that she saw. So she goes ahead and she logs in. And she's immediately met by a WaveCX featurette. This is what we call a sort of personalized interstitial. This is operating off of several attributes that First Bank has about Cosette, essentially saying she's new to bank, so take her through this carousel. But not only that, we actually have another attribute that shows she has a less than ideal credit score, but she has income coming in. So let's show her savvy money. Let's not show her things like bill pay and wires. Let's show her things that are going to immediately change her life. And then as we get into the last slide, she sees start strong with these three steps: set up direct deposit, add a savings goal, turn on smart alerts. All attributes drove this content. This isn't static content. This was built for her by this campaigns of our featurettes inside of banking. So let's say she says, great, I'm onboarded, I understand what's inside banking. And she comes in and she says, you know, I can't figure out in this dang thing how to change my password. So she comes into Actions under the application. Oop, let's go ahead and crash that. Let's try that again. We built a fake banking app to show our software, so you got to give us a little bit of leeway there. Okay, so now she opens up the Actions sheet, and then she sees the search bar. This search bar is actually WaveCX sitting inside of the application. So here she says, how do I change my password? And so she immediately sees a WaveCX demo that shows her specifically in banking how to change her password. But not only that, when she's done viewing that demo, it's actually WaveCX has dropped her on that piece of the UI. So it's understood her intent, showed a demo on how to do it, and then dropped her off at that place to be able to change her password. So let's say Cosette goes out that night, loses her card. She comes back to First Bank, and she goes to the WaveCX search engine and says, I lost my card. So WaveCX says, okay, First Bank, based off your SOPs and the type of user that Cosette is and what she has available in her app, we're going to use those three attributes and triangulate a response on the fly for her. So it says, okay, which card? So Cosette says, it was my credit card. So then WaveCX takes her to the First Bank Manage Card screen and says, go ahead and lock your card. Because it's read First Bank's SOPs, and it understands that that's what First Bank wants to have happen, but it's not going to execute it for her. It's going to take her right up into that screen and then say, you do it. Because at WaveCX, we believe that agentic AI in financial industries needs to stop at that last step. So she goes ahead and she locks her card, and then let's say she logs out. Then the next day, Cosette comes back in again, and this is that intelligent engagement that we talked about. She signs in, and because she was here last and locked her card and said she lost her card, a WaveCX featurette pops up and says, hey, last time you were here, you said you locked your card. Let's go ahead and check for any sort of fraudulent activities within your transactions. So from here, Cosette now feels sort of embraced by First Bank. She understands the tools that are available to her. It's a faster UI. Even if First Bank's UI is outdated, tools like our search bar let her skate across it, as well as our intelligent demos that help show her what that looks like. Now let's take a look at maybe somebody who's been at the FI for some time. So let's pick Hugo. And so Hugo is a high wealth customer at First Bank. He's been here some time, but they've released a new bill pay UI. And he doesn't have time to figure out, go to pay bills, pay a bill, select the to, select the from. He wants to very quickly just open up that action sheet and say, pay HOA. So at that point, WaveCX looks at all of his historical data and then says, all right, we're going to take you to the payment screen where you can go ahead and now execute this payment on your own. Again, we're not going to do it for you, but we're going to read all of your data, all of the UI data, and what the FI wants to happen when someone asks this question, and then we're going to go ahead and take you there. It can also do, taking you to one more user, let's take a look at Pia. So Pia is a small business owner who, much like Hugo, is very, very busy, on the go. Maybe she's a bit of a scatterbrain. And so she comes in here under Actions and she says, do I have enough, if I could type, do I have enough cash for payroll next week? So at this point, it's essentially now has to look at several of her accounts and sort of make a judgment call on the fly. And so here it takes a look and it says, you've actually have, it's so close. You would have liked the end, I promise. Thank you all, have a good one.